Hey BookTube, this is Friday Reads. I'm Jen, talking about audiobooks, and I finished 4 books this past week, and I have a couple of things on tap for the weekend, so let me just tell you about them. The first 3 books that I finished were a series, the Dark Elements series by Jennifer L. Armentrout, and they are White Hot Kiss, Stone Cold Touch, and Every Last Breath. And they are narrated by Saskia Maarleveld. Saskia Maarleveld is not a narrator that I've had a whole lot of really good experiences with. But I think that had a lot more to do with her being miscast as the proper narrator for that particular story that I was listening to. Really didn't have anything to do with her as a narrator and her abilities as a voice actor. So in this case, I would give her a 4 out of 5, definitely. She does have a very breathy quality to her voice, but that's her voice. That's really not, doesn't have anything to do with her ability as a voice actor. I think she's a really good voice actor. I think she made some very subtle distinctions between the characters, but I always knew who was speaking. And she also threw in a couple of accents here and there, and I thought those were good. So yeah, high marks to the narration. Overall, I really enjoyed it. The books, I did not enjoy. Good character development, predictable romance, love triangle. This is your standard YA paranormal book. And to be honest, I'm not even going to go into all the problems I had with this series because they have to do with where I'm coming from as a person and my own personal filters and the way I view the elements that were brought into this story and the way that they were presented. It is fiction, and any author can do whatever they want with fiction. Yeah, I gave these all about 2.5 stars. A couple of them I rounded up to 3, and then the last one I rounded down to 2. I don't know. They were predictable. The characters were enjoyable and well done, and she's a decent writer, but I don't love her as an author. I think that they do have their audience. I don't think I'm it. And that aside, I really did have a lot of problems with these books. So I'm going to do a separate review and talk about that. And the other book I finished, let's move on, was Let the Wind Rise by Shannon Messenger. This is the 3rd book in the Let the Sky Fall series. I can get a hold of these books. They are Let the Sky Fall, Let the Storm Break, and then Let the Wind Rise. I have to tell you, first of all, these have gone through a cover change, and I know why. I talked with Shannon Messenger about that. She said it was because she is the author of a middle grade series that is very, very popular, and people who were coming to book signings were seeing this series and the first cover, and they felt like it was a little too adult for the kids that were coming up to have books signed. You know, the parents were kind of going, well, I don't think I want you to read that. I liked these covers a lot. I thought they were beautiful, but I get why the publisher chose to do the cover change because, you know, parents were worried about their kids being way too young for a YA romance that was especially presented like this. So, beautiful cover, bye-bye. Oh well. So Let the Wind Rise. Well, let me also say that the first 2 books are on audio. They are narrated by Kristen, Leigh, and Nick Podehl, and they are fantastic on audio. I wish so much that this were on audio. It is not. I think it's probably because although Let the Sky Fall got a fair amount of hype when it came out, I don't think that the series kind of kept going with, like, they didn't push it, you know, it didn't get the same kind of PR that the first book got. And Shannon Messenger has kind of turned her attention to this middle grade series, and it does get a lot of hype. So I have a feeling that's why. But this is a great series. It is highly underrated, and I loved it. It's all about wind sylphs, and it has a main character named Vane, like weather vane, who is one of my favorite characters of all time. I just loved him because he's just a regular guy. He has no idea what he's capable of or how gifted he is. He's actually a king of a realm, and he has no idea, and he has no idea how to do it, how to be a king, and just the whole naivete and innocence that he brings to the whole story is priceless. It's priceless. I love his personality. I just, oh gosh, he was the best thing. And when Nick Podehl was voicing him, he was so good. So this is about Vane and Audra. And Audra is a wind sylph who is the guardian for Vane, and she has guarded him over the course of his life because he has no idea what he is, and he has been hidden away because there's a big bad guy that wants to do away with him. He is the last of his kind. He is adopted. His parents were killed in a tornado. And that brings me to the idea that so much of this series deals with wind and air drafts, and the way that Shannon Messenger has taken that whole idea and built this whole world where these sylphs can manipulate the wind. And the wind, actually, I say the wind, it's the winds from the north, south, east, and west. They all are another character in the book, or more characters in the book, because they have like a presence and a sentience where these sylphs can control them, but I say control in the very loosest sense of the word, in that it's more like persuading the wind to do what you want. And the winds kind of serve the sylphs, but they still have their own minds. And things can, happen to them. They can be crafted into weapons, or used as protection, or any number of things. There are maelstroms, tornadoes, wind spikes, blankets of, protection and healing. The wind sylphs can heal when they get to the wind, and the best way to kill them is to put them in a place where there's no breeze, there's nothing, the air is not moving at all. So anyway, great series. This is a great ending to the series. It was a little bit of really teenagers saving the world, but it was okay because it was a fictional world, clearly, with a couple of ties to the real world, but not many. So I loved it. I ended up giving it 4 stars. I think it is a great 4-star series and entirely worth the read. So I would highly recommend that. Whereas I would not recommend the Dark Elements series. Just saying. Okay, so this weekend I am reading a couple of things with a couple of people, and that's because my 2 good friends, Lisa from Books and Smiles and Michaela from Love Michaela Eve, are participating in the International Book Buddy-a-thon. And I don't know, that one got by me, and I would have wanted Michaela anyway, and I just thought, no, it's all right. That one, that readathon can go, that can be something I don't do. But they're reading a couple of books, and I heard what they were, and I said, hey, do you mind if I just read them along with you, or at the same time? I won't be a part of the buddy-a-thon, but, and they said, sure, because it's always a good thing that we can talk, all 3 of us, about these books. We all have read them, so we all know what we're talking about. First is Love and Gelato, and this is by Jenna Evans Welch, and it is YA contemporary about a girl who has to go live in Italy for the summer. She has never met her dad, and so she goes to live with him for the summer, and it's all about what happens to her there. I'm up to about chapter 5, and it's so clever. I don't know if everybody would think that it's clever. I think it's clever because I'm not around teenagers all the time, but I think it's full of wit and a little bit of angst, just the right amount, of teenage angst, and so I'm really enjoying it so far. Not very far in, but, I think it's probably going to end up being a 4-star read. The other things that I am reading are going to be Isla and the Happily Ever After, which is the 3rd book in the Anna and the French Kiss series by Stephanie Perkins. On audio, that's narrated by Grace Bluer, and I've sampled the audio for like the first 5 to 10 minutes of it, and I wasn't sure about Grace Bluer at first, but I think she's going to be okay. I don't know. I'll speed her up. I was listening on my laptop through iTunes, and you can't really speed that up, but I can on this, so I'm gonna probably do that. That is Michaela's favorite book, so Lisa and I are going to read that at some point and be able to speak intelligently about that. I did not have the greatest luck with Anna and the French Kiss. Did not like that book. Finally got it read, took me forever, and now I was so glad to be done. So we'll see. But I have high hopes for that one. That's also YA contemporary, about a girl and a boy who attend school in Paris. And then the other thing that I'm listening to is called What to Say Next. It's Julie Buxbaum's new book. It's narrated by Kirby Hayborn and Abigail Ravache, and it has a main character who has Asperger's syndrome. He's a very likable character, and then the other main character is a girl who has just lost her dad in a car accident, so she's dealing with that. I wasn't sure about Abigail Ravache as a narrator until I heard her say a line in the course of the book, and I thought, oh, you're in. You're in with me. I like you. I think I'm really going to enjoy this book, and it's going to be because of your good narration. And Kirby Hayborn, I love him. I love him. Everything he narrates, I pretty much enjoy. So that is what I'm concentrating on this weekend. Coming up, I probably, after these three things, since it's all a whole lot of YA contemporary, I think I'm going to need a good, bloody, survival, desperate, post-apocalyptic book. I think I'm just going to need something like that. Zombies would be fine. Yeah, so either that, or I'm going to pick up Kristen Higgins' book that I haven't read yet, which is If You Only Knew, which is narrated by Amy Rubinate and Exie Sands, and I'm sure I will like that. So, yeah, that's what's coming up. So let me know what you're reading this weekend. I'd love to know what you're up to, if the weather is as beautiful there where you are as it is here, because it is so gorgeous here. It's like 80 degrees. It's perfect weather. My husband and I, it's like the perfect place where we meet. 80 degrees, low humidity, gorgeous sunshine, warm, beautiful, green, all the good stuff. So I hope it's like that where you are. I hope at least the sun is shining, and you need to wear sunglasses because, as we all know, yes, let's all say it together, a day that requires sunglasses is always a good day. So let me know what you're reading, what you're doing, where it is, what's like where you are, and have a good weekend. That's it for now from me, and I will see you next time. Thanks for watching. For as often as I complain about where I live and the bugs, I have to tell you, it's so pretty. Sometimes it's just so pretty.